fought Manny and you fought Errol Spence, and if Manny gets past his Thurman fight, that's the natural route is a fight with Spence. Compare and contrast those two, and your experiences with them. Like, how's Manny's power compared to Spence's power? How's Spence's, just being there with him, his muscle compared to Manny?
Yeah, apples and oranges. They're two different athletes. They're two different guys. You got to think about where Manny started his career, 112 pounds, something like that, and you got to think about where Spence is probably going to end his career, which is going to be in probably the 60s. I could easily see him being a 3-division champion. He's that good. He's that big. Manny could never and will never get that high. I think Spence is really hanging out just for the big fights now. 47, he's going to move up immediately. As soon as he gets these big fights out of the way, he's just a big guy. He's a much bigger guy than Manny. And the thing about power is, I said something earlier about rate of force production. It's how much power you can generate in a very short period of time. Manny's very powerful, and I would say his punch is very different than Spence's. Spence is thudding and heavy. Manny's very explosive and fast. So they're different. Manny's is much more shocking in terms of like his because it's the speed plus the power. Also his angles. I think if he were to ever fight Spence, he'd need to be Manny of old and firing from all angles, being difficult to catch, not staying in one place, getting up on his toes in and out. I'm not sure if he can do that anymore because he is a different guy now, but I don't know. I'd rather not see that fight happen, honestly.
We'll put in some B-roll with that little walkthrough that just happened right now. It happens. Yeah. But he has this fight with Keith Thurman. It's a tough fight. Keith Thurman's the favorite.
Yeah, it probably should be. He's an undefeated champion. Manny's 41 years old now, or 40 years old. And although he's looked good his last couple fights, although he's looked great the last couple of fights,
this is definitely going to the blooper reel right there.
Think you're giving a high five. You're like, stop.
I know. It's all right. It's all good, man. Yeah, Pacquiao-Thurman. So there we go.
Back to Pacquiao-Thurman. So I actually like the fight, even though Thurman's the favorite. I think that Thurman's inactivity actually makes this a fight. He's been so inactive the last 3 years. It's fights every 18 months or so. And Manny has been busy as he always is. And I thought he looked really good in the Matisse fight, and he showed that he still has the endurance in the Broner fight. So it's a real fight, and I think this new Manny, he's not the same guy I fought 5 years ago. He's a different guy now. He still has the power. He still pulls the trigger when he needs to. I was ringside calling the Matisse fight, and Matisse is a real puncher. Even though he's a smaller guy, he's still a good puncher. There was nothing that I saw in Manny that night where he was gun shy or afraid of the power, and that was a big eye opener for me. I didn't know how he was going to respond to someone who could really punch, and there was no fear in him. And I think that's dangerous for Manny, but also makes him so dangerous.
Who do you favor in the fight, though? Who do you think is going to win?
Man, I'm telling you, I'm with Pacquiao. Yeah? I'm with Pacquiao in that fight. I would love to see him win that fight because I know maybe it's nostalgic, but like I said, I think it's a good fight. But I wouldn't be surprised if Pacquiao won that fight.
A lot of people say that Thurman coming into this, because the layoff, that he's really going to come into the old Thurman in this fight now that he's active. Do you think that? Because a lot of people also say that Thurman's not the same anymore, that he doesn't have the same fire, the same desire.
I think it's hard to say that he's not the same or he doesn't have the desire because we haven't seen that much of him. You don't know. Like his last fight was Josecito Lopez, and not one of his best performances, right? But Josecito Lopez is a tough guy. He's fought everybody. It's not an easy guy. But I think Thurman is going to have to be the Thurman of old in order to win this fight. Which is not the question at all.
You still living at home?
No.
When did you move out?
A while. I bought my parents' house about 2 years ago.
Oh, that's awesome.
So thank you. But yeah, I moved out. There's too many people in that house. Yeah. My nephews are too big. We got 4 grown men walking, between my mom, my dad, and my brother, and then his 3 sons or 4 sons. They're my size. So it's just too many dudes, too much testosterone in one place. I had to get out of there.
I always got to chuckle, man. Like, you win a world title and where do you live? Like, my mom's house.
Yeah. Nah, our house was that was part of what got me there, and it's kind of we're very close knit. We still are. I'm still home whenever I can, and even when I'm traveling, I always make it a point to end up home. My brother's kids are very, very close to me, so it's important to be around.
All right, Chris, thank you so much, and fight fans, make sure to go ahead and check out The Fighter's Kitchen, available now, you said, Barnes & Nobles, Amazon. Chris, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. It's always great chatting with you, Chris, always. Absolutely. Chris Algieri, Marcos Villegas here in Las Vegas.